Okay, folks, it's not Hake. So what's happening behind the scene right now? Normally it's the HakeReport.com, and it is the HakeReport.com. But I am Jesse Lee Peterson sitting in for Hake today. At least the first hour. I don't know if I'm going to do the second hour. I think Joel Friday may be doing the second hour. But for now, I am sitting in for Hake Report. And so it's a whole different setup. And so the anchor baby trying to figure that out.
Pretty much, but I wanted to do it just like Hake does.
Right.
If you'd allow me. But I'm pretty much ready with you are, Jesse.
And so it's a totally different setup. Can I give out the phone number now or later?
You can give out the phone number now.
You can call in at 888-7753-773. 888-77 Jesse. Jesse Lee Peterson sitting in for thehakereport.com. And 1, 2, 3, hit it.
Here we go.
Hake Report, the Hake Report.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey, guys.
The Hake Report.
La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, and then he
Amazing.
just goes right into his show.
Thank you, man. What a mess. 888-7753-773. So I'm sitting in for the Hake Report. I know I'm doing this first hour of the Hake Report. I think Joel Friday may be doing the second hour because his show starts right after the Hake. So instead of me having to do 5 hours of talking, I may only have to do 4 hours this morning. How come I'm still seeing Hake down there? That's normal?
Oh, yeah, that's just the second screen. You're not used to his setup. Nobody's
okay.
seeing that right now.
Okay, amazing. So I was talking to Lynn at the end of my show, and Lynn, I don't know if you dropped or what happened, but you can call back 888-7753-773. 888-77 Jesse. We're talking about walking out in the prison of your own imagination, your thoughts and your emotion, and be free. You drop the thoughts, you drop the anger, you can have perfect peace right here on earth. You don't have to be miserable. And I understand most people love their misery. I want to go to Joseph, who's been waiting all through my 3-hour show. And I'm just going to take some calls here. Joseph out of Florida. Joseph, welcome to the Hake Report. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, thank you so much for taking my call, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm in a unique position in my life, man. I've been abusing drugs for the past 10 years and recently decided to quit my job and to quit drugs. And I've spent the last week and a half locked up in my apartment, completely strung out. And I'm just now getting to a point where I'm feeling normal again. And through this process, I realized that, I've kind of been a bad person on these drugs. And I'm not trying to blame anybody but myself. Don't really have family. I have some friends. As I say, I don't really have a job right now, but I am getting sober. It's probably one of the better things I can do in my life. I'm cleaning up my body so I can get another job and be stable and everything. But I'm starting my life over, and I just wanted to see what kind of insights or advice that you may have for me.
So you spent a whole week in the house high?
No, I threw out all my drugs.
Oh, okay.
I've been going through drug withdrawal.
And so what was it like being in the house without drugs for a whole week?
I don't know if you've ever kicked a substance or anything, but for me, it just felt like a really, really bad flu. I didn't kick anything too hard like heroin or crack or anything like that, but I was abusing weed pretty hard, alcohol pretty hard. And it just made me realize how much that I wasn't being myself,
Right.
that the drug withdrawal wasn't myself, the high wasn't myself, that I was just being like a robot, almost living my life, and just going through this process of kind of giving me my clarity and like some of my powers back too, to like, I'm, like when I go out, I'm able to look people in the eye now and like, hi, how you doing? And have them be a normal person. And so, all that is new to me. And, so that's just
And so
what's
your
in my-
question for me is what?
I just wanted to see, sir, as a man who's kind of realizing that, maybe I have made some mistakes in my life, and maybe I have let anger destroy things, and I really am trying to restart my life. How does somebody do that?
Oh, okay. Good question. But first, why did you quit your job?
It was my fault. Anytime something came up that I didn't like, I'd have an attitude about it. And eventually I could tell my coworkers weren't liking me, and then I just eventually stopped liking the job and I quit.
Okay.
If I had a better attitude about it was a great job. I worked with great people. If I just had a better attitude, I think I would have kept the job. But I really, my man, I really want to get serious and start living a good life. And so that's why I'm calling you today.
Okay. So if you want to be free, because you went through the drug withdrawal thing, but what's going to happen, you're just going to find something else. If you don't go back to the drugs, you're going to find something to be addicted to try to make yourself feel better. If you want to be free, Joseph, you got to drop your anger, because anger is separating you from life, and you're going to only have misery up and down. Even good feelings or misery is not good. It's just an up and down life. You got to drop your anger. Are you willing to drop your anger?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so
sir.
have you heard me say to forgive your mother?
I have forgiven my mother. She passed away years ago. I went to her grave and I forgave her.
And what did you forgive her for?
She could be very abusive and manipulative,
Yeah.
and was just very selfish sometimes, and always kind of put herself first. And she never even realized it until her later years in her life.
Okay. And how about your father? You forgave him for not protecting you from her?
Well, I have forgiven him, but if I'm being honest with you, the last conversation that we had, I was very nasty and mean to him, and he's asked me to not contact him anymore. And so I haven't contacted him anymore. And I've decided, and he's not completely innocent. He beat up my mom and abandoned me when I was a kid and stuff, and that was because of his issues, and he's kind of a better person now. But during that conversation at that time, I had not forgiven him. And months later, I have forgiven him since then, but I have not been in contact with him, and I don't intend to unless he reaches out to me or something like that.
And so you have not forgiven him then? The one thing I want you to know, you need to call him up and apologize, FaceTime with him if you can, and apologize to him for being angry at him. He could not help himself. And whatever he's done, that's on him. It has nothing to do with you. And if you want to be free, you got to forgive him, because he can help himself just as you cannot help yourself. If you don't forgive your earthly father, you will never know truth, and you will never know freedom. You will always be enslaved.
So the last conversation that we had, as I said, it got really nasty, Jesse. He reached out to the police, and the police called me up and said that I cannot contact him anymore, and if I do, that I would be subject to go to jail. So that's why I haven't. And I understand why. I was pretty, I never threatened him or did anything like that, but I was very nasty.
And why? Why are you so nasty to your father?
Because the situation was, Jesse, at least what I was told, he beat up my mom and gave up custody of me when I was 5 years old. And he never looked for me. And I never understood how you can just give up your son and never look for him. That part I had a problem with. And it makes me wonder if he ever really loved me. And if maybe I should just accept the fact that, maybe my father just never loved me. And that's why.
And so rather than judging your father based on what someone else said, why do you just call him up and ask him what happened? Because your mother lied. Yeah, and the fact that your father beat your mother, that had nothing to do with you. I guarantee you, if you hear him out, you're going to hear the truth about it. Your father beat your mother because he couldn't deal with her. Your father gave you up because your mother fought to keep you away from him. Your mother didn't tell you the truth about what really happened, and she has turned you away from your father, and that's why you're mad at him, because you believe the lies from your mother about your father. And you're wrong for that.
And I am wrong for that. And the truth is, Jesse, is much of that stuff he's already said to me. That he basically gave me up because she told him that it was best for me. She's not a stepdad and this, that, and the third. And so
your mother was evil.
Yeah, she was. She was evil.
And he thought at that time what?
Well, he told me that he thought at the time that it was best for me, that instead of trying to have two dads in the house, that he was thinking, well, if you stepped out, the stepdad could step in and I'd have a dad and everything would be happily ever after. I can kind of understand that. I guess what I don't understand is, like, after I turned 18 or 20 or something, like, why didn't you ever look for me? I'm 38, by the way. So,
well, why do you, at 18, why do you look for him?
At the time, I hated him.
Right.
I believe
so you can't blame him for that. Right. You believe everything your mother said. You can't blame your father for that. You a grown man. You could have looked for him. My son, he got mad at me too. The same thing happened. And at 18, he looked for me because I had tried to be with him. The mother wouldn't allow it. But at 18, he looked for me to find out what happened. And I told him what happened. You didn't try to find your father. You judged your father. And so when you spoke to him, you treated him in the same way your mother treated him, because you have the mindset and emotion of a woman. You have your mother's identity.
I do. I see that. I'm not even going to deny that. I do.
So you owe your father an apology.
Well, I can't contact him, Jesse, or I'd apologize.
Are you able to just text him and say, you know what, Father, Dad, whatever you call him, I was wrong. I am sorry, and leave it as that.
Well, I was actually thinking of something a little different. Father's Day is coming up. I do know his address. I was thinking of mailing him a Father's Day card and just simply saying, I forgive you. And just, and if he wanted to, accept that or call me up or whatever, he has my contact info.
Don't say I forgive you. Say I'm wrong for hating you. I was wrong. I didn't know. I didn't understand until we talked. I was wrong. Why don't you say it that way? Because you are wrong for hating him. That's why you're suffering. The only reason you're on drugs and alcohol because you are separated from truth. You're separated from life, and you're empty. And you're trying to fulfill that emptiness with outside sources, drugs and sex and alcohol and all that, parties, going to a basketball game, football game, all that kind of stuff. But nothing's going to fulfill that until you can drop the anger. And that's not going to happen until you apologize to your father for the way you treated him, for being angry at him, and forgive your mother for what she's done, turning you away from your father. Your mother was evil.
I agree with what you're saying. I guess where I struggle with is that I do feel like that, because he never looked for me. And I understand what you're saying. Well, you're a grown man, you can look for him, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I did. I found him at 36.
But you didn't forgive him. You bitched at him like your mother does, or did.
Well, in fairness, I mean, he didn't look for his son either. He didn't exactly make it
That
easy
that,
for
that
me. And
made
I'm
no
not. I'm
sense.
not
Drop
saying.
that idea. You're a grown man. You can look for him.
Well, all I'm trying to say though, Jesse, is that he wasn't in the right either, and I'm not saying that's
That's why you have to
justification
forgive
for
him.
me being angry. You're right, and I do see that I have to forgive him. I do see that, but at the same time, does this man really love me? I mean, he
Yes.
wasn't there, and
Your
well,
father
why didn't he
love you,
put me there?
man. Your fathers don't leave their children. They leave the mother of the children, but the mother make the children think the father left them. Your father love you. He just didn't know how to deal with your mother. Your father
I
right now wish that he could get along with you, but you're such a bitch, he can't.
and I just ignore the fact that he never looked for me.
Yes.
Why?
Forgive and forget so you can be free.
I can forgive him for that, but I have a hard time thinking that he loved me if he never looked for me and was never there for me. I
How do you know
understand.
you will have that hard time if you have never forgiven? You don't even know what forgiveness is.
Um, well, I mean, don't you see that I have? Well, do you agree that I have a valid point here that he never looked for his son? He was in the wrong too. I'm not saying that's justification for anything that I did, but I guess that's the core of the issue is that I feel like he should have looked for his son and he should have been there for his
How do you
son.
know he didn't look for you?
He told me he didn't.
And why is that so important to you?
Because if he doesn't love me, I don't want a relationship
He
with
does
him.
love
What's the
you.
point? But then why wouldn't he look for his son?
He didn't feel
That's
like
the
it.
issue that I have. Say again? I'm sorry, I didn't
He
hear you
didn't
say.
feel like looking for you. What the?
Well, is that a dad that loves his son, or is that a dad that doesn't love his
But
son?
it's
I mean,
dumb that
I
that is
understand.
important to you. Why don't you try to get an understanding? You find him and you ask him, Dad, what happened? Why do you this and why do you that? Get an understanding, then drop
He
it.
told me what happened.
So
Well,
why don't you drop it then?
I've got no problem dropping the past.
No, you do
Jesse,
have a
I've
problem.
forgiven him. I have a problem understanding why he didn't look for his son, and I have a hard time believing that he loved his son if he didn't look for him.
When he told you why he didn't look, what did he tell you?
He told me he didn't know where to look
And so why don't you accept that?
because that's bull. I mean, you're telling me you don't know how Google works. You're telling me you can't go to a library. You're telling me you can't ask for help. You
Who
didn't
gonna
want to
put in
find
that
your
much
son.
time looking for somebody?
A father that loves his son
Listen.
might actually put in a little effort, just a little bit, instead of just beating up my mom and abandoning me. Maybe you could actually find your son and give him a hug or take him to dinner or, do father things. Am I crazy for thinking that?
Yes, honestly, you are. When my son mother moved him to New York, I tried to see him. She wouldn't let
Yes,
it.
sir.
She wouldn't let it happen. I stopped everything. I stopped looking. I just worked on myself, and I figured, you know what? Hopefully, God will bring us back together. So I worked on myself, and then up until he turned 18. After he turned 18, he came looking for me, and he was ticked just like you. And he asked, what happened? I said, well, I tried. Your mother wouldn't let it happen. They took me to court and blah, blah, blah. And so I just gave up because I couldn't get you. What the hell? And when I explained it to him, he still stayed mad for a while, but he soon realized he was wrong for being angry. I had done my best, and things start to change. Your father loved you. Your father done your best, his best. You're a grown man, and for you to be stuck on, he didn't look for me, is ridiculous. You need to drop that immediately, man. That's in your way.
Okay. But then I would have to accept the fact that this guy didn't really love me. I don't think he that. I mean,
He did love
I have
you.
I have a very difficult time understanding why he couldn't look for his son or find his son.
You know why? You know why you
Because
haven't? You know
because
why?
he's a beta.
You know why
Because he's
you
a
have?
beta.
But you're a beta. You the one won't forgive. A beta person will not forgive. Alpha males forgive and forget. Your problem is not your father at this point. Your problem is you. You're unwilling to forgive, and you're one with the devil, and you're going to end up, if not on drugs, you're going to use something else because you're unwilling to forgive. You sound
Jesse,
like
I'm willing.
you
I'm
sound
willing
like you
to forgive
think. No,
him,
you,
but I don't think that the guy loves me or cares about me. If he did,
okay,
I
let's
just
say
think
that
that
your
he would
father.
have looked for his son.
Let's
That's
say
all
that,
I'm saying.
let's say that your father didn't love you, right?
Okay.
Why don't you love him?
Because I'm letting hurt and anger come between that.
So then, how are you gonna judge him for not loving you when you won't even love him?
Yeah. I feel like I do love my dad though, because
But you don't love
I
him. You
tried to
hate
find
him.
him.
You hate him. You don't love him.
That is true. That's true.
So you don't love him. Stop lying to yourself.
How do I forgive him? How do I stop hating him?
By realizing, you see how awful you are, a drug addict, angry person, quit your job, out of control, and you can't help yourself, right? You don't want to be this way.
Trying to. I'm trying, man.
Your father had this.
The last 10 years have been hell. I promise you, I've been trying.
Your father had the same problem, and you wouldn't want your father to judge you for going through stuff where you can't help yourself. Likewise, your father cannot help himself. Forgive him so that you can be forgiven, and then the truth will take over your life, and you'll be fine. But you got to love your father without expecting him to love you. Do you believe God? You believe God love you?
Yeah.
So you're no good at all. Why do you believe God love you and you're no good?
It's got nothing to do with me.
So then love you.
his
Why
nature.
can't you love your father in the same way?
I've never thought about it like that before. I guess I've thought about it in the sense that, if he doesn't love me, then I don't love him. And that's wrong. That is wrong. And you're right. My life shouldn't be based on what someone else did or didn't do or anything like that. I do need to forgive him.
You are just like the victimized people, the victims. They blame everyone else and they refuse to blame themselves so they can overcome and be of love. You need to love your father and God will love you. And the impact that you will give your father, you're going to see that he loves you. Your father loves you, man. You're just crazy in your head right now. You stuck on this thing, well, because your mother and other told you, he didn't come looking for you. You're 18 years old. If he loved you, he would come. You listen to all the crap that the people have told you about him. And when he told you, I didn't know where to look, you didn't just accept that because you believe what your mother and others have told you about him. You're evil.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you on the victim thing. I'm taking a lot of responsibility for my life in this moment.
You're taking no
You're right.
responsibility.
You're
You're
right.
unwilling to forgive.
I just told you I'm willing to forgive him, Jesse.
All right.
It's not exactly easy. He didn't exactly put me in a good situation. He's not perfect himself. Okay, and I know I'm not a perfect person either. But, yeah, he could have put in a little bit more effort in finding his son. He could have tried better, just like, you're right. I could forgive him too and maybe not be so nasty. Okay, but doing the best I can, man.
I understand, but I promise you, you're not going to be free until you can forgive him and love him. And love means don't be angry at him. When you drop that anger, your whole world will change. Your life will change for the good. And you got to let go of this idea, oh, he didn't look for me. That's ridiculous. You listen to the devil. You don't need him to look for you. You're a grown man. Look for him. You're not a victim, man.
Trying to be a victim. I'm not trying to play victim here.
Well,
I'm telling
drop
you
that
my issues with my
idea.
dad.
Drop that idea that he didn't look for you. That's not even an issue. That's another false thought and false emotion that's straight out of hell that's trying to keep you in hell.
Well, Jesse, do you think that it's possible that just some dads just don't love their kids at all, and it's just better just to not have a relationship with that individual?
No, that's not possible. All fathers love their children. That doesn't mean you got to have a relationship with them, meaning that you don't have to hang out with them, you don't have to party with them, you don't have to go to his funeral. But if you want to be free, you got to love your father. Because if you don't love your earthly father, you're never going to love truth. You're never going to love God. You will always be enslaved to evil. Ain't no way out. How can you hate the son and say you love the father? You never seen the father, but you hate the son, your earthly father.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel like that's how he treated me. If he cared about me, he would have been in my life. You know, and I understand what you're saying, that, hey, there's no excuse for you to hate your dad. You need to forgive him and all that. You're dead right. In the same way, you got no excuse to not be in his son's life. He could have found his son. He could have done a little bit better. But as you say, you know, I have to forgive that guy no matter what. I mean, you're right about that. And I will. So how do you forgive somebody? I guess that's my problem, man, is how do you forgive somebody when they've done wrong? Because my dad has done wrong. Okay, I'm not trying to hate him for it, but how do I forgive him for that?
By seeing how wicked and wrong you are for judging. You're wrong. You're evil. You're judgmental. You're worse than the ones that you're judging. That's how you do it.
I don't want to be like that. I really don't.
And if you don't want to be like that, then you need to forgive your father, because you're worse than the man that you're judging.
So you think that, okay. So your advice would be write in, tell him, hey, I'm sorry for hating you. Because I am wrong for that. And apologize to him.
Not I am sorry for hating you. I am wrong for hating you. I'm sorry. I'm wrong.
What if he calls the police and gets me arrested, Jesse?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you can't do it, then don't do it. I understand that. So that part, I can't tell you what to do about it. But I do know in your heart, you got to stop judging your father, because you are a miserable, judgmental, unhappy, lost soul. And you're never going to be found until you can drop this anger. You're just like your mother about your father. You're seeing him through your mother's eyes and not your own. And you're unwilling to forgive. It's a sad way to live.
I'm not unwilling to forgive.
Then drop that idea about, oh, he didn't come looking for me.
Well, so am I supposed to say he's the greatest dad on planet Earth, and, you know, he's never in my life or never looked for me? He's
Joseph,
king of the hill?
Joseph, you're
the greatest guy?
Joseph, you're being ridiculous now. I got to go. 'Cause all you're doing right now, listen to the devil coming up with some more mess. Stop listening to the thought, even in this conversation. The devil just told you that. The devil's like, well, are you supposed to forgive him even though he didn't do this and he didn't do that? And now you still listen to evil.
Jesse, I can forgive him, but I guess here's just my issue. Like, can I forgive him and just not have a relationship with him?
Joseph, I want to advise you to go ahead and suffer until you're ready to forgive. You're not ready. You're playing a game. I got to run. You suffer until you're ready to overcome.
Jesse, I really am ready to overcome.
No, you're not.
There's a reason I called you. I am.
We've been talking a half hour about forgiveness, and you still listen to evil thoughts coming up with questions about forgiveness when you know now that it ain't about him, it's about you, and you still coming up with this mess. You listen to evil.
So I just forgive him no matter what.
You already know that. God is forgiving you no matter what. Look how bad you are. You're an evil guy, unforgiving, evil guy, and yet God holds nothing against you. And who are you to hold anything against your father or anyone?
You're right. So I write him and I tell him that I'm sorry for hating him.
Yeah, as long as you're not going to go to jail.
Okay, I'll do that.
You,
Hey, I appreciate you calling for you being tough on me, man. I want you to know I really am going to forgive my dad. Okay, it's not just easy. Okay, I will do it.
You need to see that you're wrong for judging him, period. You're worse than the person that you're judging. You're worse than your father. You're worse than him because you're judging him. The judger is worse than the judgee.
Okay.
And do the silent prayer. If you decide to work on yourself, rebuildingtheman.com/silent prayer so you can come out of your hell, man.
Okay, I'll do that. So write him, tell him I'm sorry for hating him and really forgive him.
The best way is to face him, shake it in your boot, and apologize for resenting him. And God will forgive you. But if you can't talk to him because you go to jail, and your only choice is to send him an email or something or write him, do it that way.
Jesse, I'll do that. And I appreciate you talking to me.
Let me know how it goes.
I will. I appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy. Bye. Amazing. Can we do super chat?
Yes, we can.
Super chat.
Super chat.
All right, let's go with from right here. We got Elijah with a diamond. Appreciate that, Elijah.
Thank you, Elijah.
We got, and these are now starting from Sunday.
Okay.
So great stuff. We got Mario Baldo. Thank you for that.
Thank
Aaron
you.
G says, I was shaking like a mug on my way to forgive my mama. I even fixed her toilet before I forgave her, so hopefully she wouldn't be as mad.
That's right. Shaking in your boots, but forgive her. He said you were doing what now?
He said he was shaking on his way to forgive her. He even fixed her toilet before he forgave her, so she wouldn't be as mad.
Wrong way to do it. What
And
a beta.
He put his hand in his face,
Oh,
realizing
man.
what he had done.
Yeah, what a beta. You got to face your mother and your father, especially mother, because everybody's afraid to face their mother and forgive her. Shaking in your boots, in fear, then you shall be made free. You done did everything wrong. What? Amazing. Thank you.
Bogrech with the super chat says amazing. Steven Santiago, thank you.
I'm told I shouldn't do this. I have to do them on my show tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Derek. Does Hake have super chats? Those are from the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
This is correct.
Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, folks. Sorry about that. We'll start out with the super chats from the Jesse Lee Peterson show tomorrow. Does Hake have super chats?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
We can't do Hake super chat because we don't have them yet. So I'll just go back to the phones. I'm sitting in for Hake. And I haven't done this in a long time. Hake whole setup is different than my setup. And at the top of the hour, Joel Friday going to be sitting in an hour for Hake from 10 to 11. And then he'll do his show from 11 to 12. What? We got to do what we got to do. One monkey don't stop no show. Let me go to Stephen out of a first-time call out of Indiana. Stephen, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
How you doing, Jesse?
All is well, Stephen.
Yeah, so are you aware of why I called today?
No.
Well, actually, I've been wanting to talk to you, but more on a one-on-one setting via phone, obviously, because I won't go to California. But without the show, but
you want a
go
counseling
ahead.
session or something?
Well, yeah, I would have liked to have a one-on-one, but if we're doing it through the show, then that's good because.
Why? If you want counseling, we have the best.
No.
No, hold
counseling.
on. I have the best counseling service in the world, folks.
Conversation.
Hold on. I'm telling other people this since you mentioned counseling. Best counseling service on this side of heaven by phone, Skype, or walk-in. Go to rebuildingtheman.com or call 800-411-BOND. 800-411-2663. So, Stephen, go ahead. What do you call about? Go ahead.
No, I said conversation. I've been wanting to talk to you ever since I first seen you on YouTube videos.
Oh, okay.
So my reason for calling today, because the conversation I would have liked to have when I first wanted to talk to you would have been over things like alienism and evolution and the worldview, the outlook of everything. Okay. But I seen a video the other day with you talking to a white guy about evolution, and he's taking the scientific approach on it, and I just want to know what. Okay, so ask me a question.
I don't have a question. I didn't call you. What's up?
Well, so do you know the purpose of evolution then?
I don't know. No. Because of time, the board is smoking. So many people want to get in. You believe in evolution? That's what you're trying to tell me?
No, the exact opposite.
And I don't believe in evolution either.
Its design is to take God out of the equation.
Yeah.
Like alienism. Its design is to take God out of the equation.
Okay.
Would you agree to that?
Well, I know that from what I hear from the people who believe in evolution, they do not believe in God. Absolutely.
Right. Okay, so we're looking at all the terrible things that are going on in the world today. Especially like murder. Like the rate is bizarre as opposed to 20 years ago. Okay, so we teach a whole generation evolution, which essentially takes the spiritual accountability out of everything. Stephen, if you think you're here by it.
Hey, Stephen, let's do it. If it sounds like you want to have a conversation, call me back tomorrow on my show, Jesse Lee Peterson, because the time is running out here. So many people want to get in now.
Well, I've been trying to do that. So you obviously got my phone number. If you want to have a conversation where I don't think the world can handle what the truth of the matter is. So I was just wanting to run over the things that I could speak with you about directly. Okay, so then if you choose to also relay this message to the world, then that would have been a better setting for me.
Oh, okay. Well, call my office at 323-782.
Hold on. I have no pen available. I do have a good memory, so let's just go a little bit slower and let me put that in my long term.
Okay.
Your office number?
323.
782.
1980.
323-782-1980?
Yes.
323-782-1908?
No, 323-782-1980.
782-1980. That's actually a better way to remember that. But the index is
323-782. 782-1980. Yes.
Okay, and what time can I expect for you to be there to, have a conversation?
I don't know. Just call and they'll let you know.
Okay. Well, then I appreciate you bringing me to your phone.
Right on, buddy. Bye. Let me go to Olivia out of Hawaii. Olivia, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jesse. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Welcome to the Hake Report. dot
Thanks
com.
for it. I called a long time ago. I don't expect you to remember, but I'm a huge fan of your show, and like last time we spoke, I didn't thank you enough for everything that you have been doing, because I really do try to implement everything that you say, especially guided towards women, of like never try to argue. This year's like assignment of like being present and wanting for nothing. Like I think about those things every day as the daily challenges kind of come up in my life.
Right on.
And I'm still having trouble because I'm still an evil, crazy woman, and I honestly don't know if I'll ever get over and drop my anger or craziness, because like the situation I was in with this guy, he's 30, I'm 23. He knows so much about what you teach, and he's like dropped his anger. He's very intelligent and all these good things, and he's like been loving enough to give me like chances and opportunities to be like good with him, but I am not. I'm like crazy, evil, and wicked still, and like I was kind of during like, it's been like over a year now that we've seen each other, and I don't want anything to do with him anymore, because like it seems like no matter what I would do, it wasn't good enough for him, and I've like dropped from my own choice, and I saw it was like the most right thing to do for our situation, to drop my like a lot of wants that I thought that I wanted, just like from a kid. Like I never like wanted a family or like to be married or kids or like all these things. I've always just enjoyed being alone, and I like through that I kind of was in love with like being depressed or like being a victim, and after finding your show, like it really changed my whole life, and I tried to like stick with it, like keep going, but this guy like triggers so much in me, and I've like dropped it, I've watched it, I've really tried my best, and it would get to the point where like I would feel like absolutely nothing and just do what was in front of me, and it was interesting. And my question like overall is like, is that normal? Is that like the right place to be if I'm feeling nothing and just doing like what is most right? Like, am I doing the right thing if I am feeling nothing about it?
100%. Yes. Absolutely. Because it's abnormal to feel anything for anyone for any reason. And you should be able to live a life where if people come into your life, fine. And when people leave your life, fine. You don't need them either way. Absolutely. You stay with the silent prayer, watch those signs, you're doing just fine. And especially at 23, to be waking up, you're blessed.
I do feel like I am blessed, like to find your show and like have the truth kind of resonate with me. I like I have kind of stuck it through with this guy for a while, because like I noticed the only time I will ever get angry is like when I'm around him, because like you, he triggers exactly what I don't want to hear, what my ego doesn't want to hear, and it just sends me off. And like I have so much pride and arrogance about that, because like I'm not generally like a very angry person, but
Well,
I
you're
don't.
23. You don't need that now. Just work on you. Are you doing the silent prayer?
Yes.
Do the silent prayer. Watch those thoughts. You don't need any of that stuff going on in your life right now.
Hmm. Um. Okay. I like. I, like because he is like really working on himself, and like I don't know if he was like trying to take me with him, and I like am not ready, or like that's not God's will for me. Like he we would get into like arguments here and there, and I do see like where I am wrong,
Good.
and like I know what I'm doing is like not right,
Right.
because like the logic of what he would be telling me about myself was like true, but I just didn't see it in the moment and like catch it for myself. So there's like a constant thing of like him telling me about myself, and I would be learning, but like it wasn't me, so I couldn't catch that for myself and truly change my heart.
And that's because no one, and I'm only going about based on what you're saying. I don't know his source, so I can't
Mm.
deal with that. But no one is supposed to be constantly reminding you. No one is supposed to be trying to take you along with them, because no one, this journey, this spiritual journey that you have to take, no one can go with you. No one can make you go. You have to travel this alone. You can't take your wife. You can't take your husband. You can't take your children. You can't take your mother or your father, your friends, your workers, or no one. You must travel this journey alone. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Mm.
So he should, based on what you just said, he shouldn't be reminding you about it all the time at all. He should just live it, be the example, and if you come along, fine. If you don't, let you suffer and die.
Absolutely.
But you
like,
can't make anyone else travel this journey.
mm. I like kind of. I think I've made him my God because I feel like the only way that I would be able to overcome is if I could treat him with as much love as like he has treated me with. And so I've like constantly gone back, and like we'd get into arguments. I'd try to double down, and even now I'm running away from like some wrong things that I have done to him. And I'm just kind of rationalizing with the devil, like, oh, you didn't really ask for this anyway. And so I know I should apologize and admit that I'm wrong.
Yeah, admit that you're wrong. But let me just say this because of time. You're doing the silent prayer every morning and night, right?
Yes.
Do that. Stay away from him for now. And see what happens. Work on you, and let him know that he cannot make you he can't make you want right. You have to want that. He may be working on himself, and it sounds like he is, but he can't take you along this thing, because if he's trying to take you, it's for him, and he's not seeking the truth. You can't love the world and love God. It doesn't work that way.
Mm.
So he can't make you want it at all. He's wrong for if he's doing that, he's wrong for that.
Mm.
A lot of men try to always be on a woman and correcting her, and you need to obey me, and it's a bunch of crap. He can't do that. Either you decide you want to wake up, or you don't. No one can make you wake up, and no one can make you take this journey. All right?
Right. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Let me know how it goes.
I will. Thank you so much, Jesse.
All
I
right.
really appreciate your time.
All right, but don't be angry. Just if you were wrong, just say, "Hey, look, I was wrong. I overreacted." But then be done with it. And for now, just work on you. Forget about boyfriend and girlfriend and all that.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse.
I love you, and I wish you well.
I love you too, Jesse. I
All right.
wish you well as well.
Thank you.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let me go to Wayne out of Houston, Texas. Wayne, welcome to the show. You're on the air. To the Hake Report.
Jesse. How you
Welcome to
doing?
the Hake Report.
Thank you for the welcome to the Hank Report. How you doing?
Not Hank, Hake. H-A-K-E.
Hank! Yeah, in my opinion, I think that, all human beings are equal. In other words, I don't think that the white man is smarter than the black man.
Why
I
that?
think, in a sense, we all equal.
Why
And
do you
I know
think
you-
that the white man is not smarter than the black man? Why do you think that?
Because all men are created equal.
But what does
in the
that
eyes
have
of
to
God.
do?
Like,
What does that have to do with the white man being smarter than the black man?
everything.
What?
We equal.
Me-
If the black man does not do the silent prayer and does not forgive his mother, etc., he will be in hell. Same thing for the white man.
But where's your proof that the black man and the white man are the same smartest?
Because God is not a respecter of persons, man.
Meaning what?
Meaning that if I go outside and I plant a mango tree and I give it water and I give it sunlight, it's going to grow. It doesn't matter if I'm black or white.
Tell me something that the black people have done to make America great.
What's black people?
Whether they added unto what's already there, or they came up with a brand new good idea that made it great. Tell me one thing
Ain't no
that
such thing as black people.
Tell me one
Jesse.
thing that the black people have done to make America better, and you can name me
There's no such
truckloads
thing
of
as black
things that
people.
you can name me truckloads of things that the white people have done to make America better. Name me one thing the blacks have done to make America better.
Okay, soul music.
What?
Soul music.
Soul music?
Yeah.
How did that make an America better?
Hey, we can dance, we can have fun, and we can, worship. Hey, that makes America better.
A monkey can dance, buddy. Does that make America
Hey.
better?
But no, a monkey can't play no guitar.
Yes, it can.
I don't know, Jesse. Come on, man.
Have you ever heard of monkey see, monkey do?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that.
Yeah, it does.
A monkey cannot play a guitar, Jesse.
Monkey see, monkey do, buddy.
You think a monkey can play the Bach symphony?
Yes.
Oh, come on, Jesse. Jesse, you know as well as I do that the black man, the white man, the Chinese man, all men are created equal.
I know that God created everybody equal, but where is it in your book, where's the proof that the black man is smart as the white man? You
My
couldn't
proof
name me,
is that in
you
the Bible.
could not name me one thing that the blacks have done to make America better. Not one thing.
No, but I'm telling you that
You
in
can't
the Bible,
name me one thing,
God-
right?
In the Bible, God does not distinguish between black man and white man.
Why do you say that?
But he doesn't.
What color was Jesus?
Jesus was well, he was maybe, I don't know. He was,
You
He
know
was from-
what was Jesus?
what was he?
Yes.
What do you mean? He was a man.
And what race?
It doesn't matter.
No, that's not the question.
What race? I don't know what race he was.
Yes, you do.
I
Yes,
think
you
he was
do.
probably Middle Eastern.
No, you know
No,
what race
the-
Jesus was.
The Bible talks about nations.
Oh, is Hate Report up, or how's that going?
No, it's not 10
When
yet.
does- oh, 10, okay.
About 5 minutes.
What,
Yeah, Jesse,
you don't know
Jesse.
what race Jesus was?
No. I mean,
Yes,
where
you
am I going
do.
to find that information? Huh?
Yes, you know
He
what
was Middle
race.
Eastern. He was Middle Eastern.
No.
Middle
no.
Eastern is not a race, though.
No, let me ask. Was Jesus a
Uh-huh.
white man?
Is there such thing as a white man?
Was Jesus a white man?
No.
Was Jesus a black man?
No.
Was he a Jew?
No.
Yes, he was.
He was a Jewish national. Yes, he was a Jewish national.
So why are you saying you up here talking about Jesus, the Lord, and
But
created
Jesus
everybody
is
the same,
Jewish is not a
and you
Jewish
lying about
is not
Jesus
a
being a
race.
Jew?
Jew is not a race, Jesse.
It is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, there's only one race, the human race.
Oh God. Dennis, I
There-
gotta get some more calls.
Listen, scientists have proven
Not
that there's
Dennis.
only one race. Before we used to think there was a white race, the black race, and the and the albino, not the albino, mongoloid race.
No,
there were
listen,
three races.
Wayne, I gotta run, but let me tell you this: you can't prove that the white man is not smarter than the blacks. You could not think of one thing that
It's
most
not
black
the
people
white
have
man.
done. You can think
It's
of one thing.
Americans. The American spirit is
Oh,
smarter than the
Lord.
wicked Middle Eastern spirit.
Oh Lord, thank you,
Because
Wayne.
I mean,
Wayne.
yeah.
I gotta go.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too. Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye.
Oh, a mess. Let me go to William, number 7 out of California. William, welcome to the show. You're on the air. His phone messed up. Again, let me go to Colin out of Tennessee. Colin, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Jesse, thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
You about to
You're
head
on
in
the
the break?
Hake report.
Thank you. Are you about to head in the break, I guess?
No.
But I guess I can start real quick. No?
Yeah, you
Okay,
better,
perfect.
because I'm about to end. Joel going to be taking over the rest of the Hake report.
Oh, okay.
So you
All
better
right,
be trying to get to your point.
Okay. I don't think I got enough time, but I appreciate your show. I'll give you a holler when there's more time, sir.
You could have said it by now.
That is a little bit more than that, but okay. Long story short, I went to my father to apologize to him for not protecting me and leaving, and we had kind of just like a very casual relationship or whatever. Never really close once they split up, and I always yearned for more, and I realized when I forgave him that I'd made a false idol out of this imaginary relationship that we didn't have. And I guess I told him that, and now he doesn't really talk to me, which is fun. It was actually very freeing. But I mean, it didn't really change much at all, I guess. I mean, it changed on my part because I finally realized that I was chasing something that never existed. You still there?
Yes, I'm listening. And your question is what? Because of time now.
Oh, I was just kind of responding to the guy that called in earlier, and his desire to be, with his father. And
that was saying that his father didn't look for him?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and it was instead of like he doesn't really want to be a part of my life that much.
Your father doesn't?
No.
How you feel about that?
Well, it bothered me really bad for a long time. But when I went and forgave him, he was just like, I'm going to have to think about that. That's his response. And that was so freeing to me. I was just like, wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was just like, that lifted it all off. I was just like, amazing. Exactly.
So
I don't know what else to say.
Let me tell you this, Colin. I'm totally out. Can you call me on my show in the morning or whenever?
Yeah.
And then remind Derek when he answers the phone that I asked you to call back.
Okay.
And then
All right,
I'll
sounds
take
good.
your call as soon as you call in, all right?
All right. You have a blessed day, sir.
You too, buddy. Thank you. I am so out of time for the Hake Report. Joel Friday is going to be taking over the Hake Report now, sitting in for Hake. And then at 11, his own show, Joel Friday TV. Hake would all of a sudden, somehow, whatever reason, he got sick. He ain't feeling well. Well, but hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. Joel Friday coming in, Dennis out of New Jersey, and the rest of the callers. I'm out of time for the Hake Report, but Joel is coming up now if y'all want to talk to him. Take care. TheHakeReport.com. Bye, y'all. I don't know what else to say. We have a counseling service, and I have to admit, thanks to God, it is the best counseling service on this side of heaven. I counsel with men and women, families, individuals around the world. Most people are unhappy, they're miserable, they have rough lives, they're depressed, suicidal, young and old, of all races. I understand, I know why, and I do understand it. Because exactly what's happening in me is happening with everybody outside of me, inside of them. And I've noticed that with those who really want to understand, they overcome it just like that, out of one counseling session. If you need counseling, you can go to rebuildingaman.com or call 800-411-2663. 800-411-BOND. Best counseling service on this side of heaven.
What's going on? Let's listen up. Listen up really quick. So this is still the Hake Report. Joel Friday here. And I'm filling in for the Hake Report, his second hour. And then I'll hop over to my stream where we get into my type stuff. Because on my stream is Grace and Mercy Monday. So we talk about that spirituality talk on Mondays on JFTV. But today, this is the Hake Report. Right now, this hour is the Hake Report. So we're going to get into it. And also, if you want to, you can call in if you'd like to ask me any questions. Maybe some Hake fans want to ask me my perspective on certain things, my opinion on certain things. Feel free to call in and we can get into it. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773. Also, I want to mention really quick because since I'm here, I want to make sure I have my clips already. I want to talk a little bit about the trial going on between you guys' favorite entertainer, not mine, yours, Diddy. All right, Diddy and Cassie. The trial is going on right now. Just some few details that stood out to me that I came across that I want to talk about, and we can get into some other stuff as well. So we shall see where it takes us, but I have just a few details because the trial is going on right now. They're trying to send Diddy away, right? And some people believe him, some people don't. And give me a second here. And what I want to do is just give my opinion on it, right? Because to be honest, I'm gonna just be real. I think that there's not a lot of. First off, I want to say this is that do I think Diddy did it or do I think he's innocent? I do not think Diddy is innocent. All right, I don't know if he's done all the things that they say he's done, because you know how the media and people within their evil hearts want to dramatize details, add to details, smear people, hatred in the heart, you know? So I don't know if everything that they're trying to accuse him of is to be true, but I don't think the man is innocent. Why? It's because, for one, I know entertainment. I know the entertainment business a little bit, okay? From my observation, but also from my personal experience. I know how the entertainment stuff goes, okay? I know how it works. I also know I've learned over the years of how the wickedness of the heart works as well. Meaning that when you're caught up in this stuff and your wealth gets in the way of the truth, right? You put your wealth over the truth. You put your wealth over doing what is right and all this stuff, what happens is God gives you away to a reprobate heart. Okay? We know that. Some of you guys have heard that before. And what happens is when your heart is given away, it's given away to darkness, right? And in that darkness, you start picking up all kinds of weird, crazy things, right? Because you're no longer being protected in a sense by God, right? He's giving you away to your the desires of your heart, right? Because you've rejected truth. And because of that, you pick up all kinds of weird, crazy, nasty things, right? And a lot more people than you guys may guess or know has a reprobate heart and mind in Hollywood, especially those that are in power. So I don't doubt that. I don't think Diddy is innocent. I do not think that he is innocent. But with that being said, I don't think that even some of these victims are being entirely honest. And that's what the point I want to make here is that, like, listen, if we're going to call out Diddy, we need to call out everybody. You know what I mean? If we're going to call out Diddy, we got to call out the accusers as well. Because they're not being entirely honest. Let's talk about a little bit about Cassie. Cassie and Diddy here. Give me a second. I just came into the studio mid Hake report, so I still got to put a few things in order here. But we're going to get into it because, man, I got some stuff I want to talk about. So, Cassie and Diddy. Just a little background on them really quick. Cassie and Diddy were in a relationship when Cassie was 19. Okay? Cassie was 19. I do not recall how old Diddy was at this time because I wasn't prepared to get into all this about it, but it just happened to come up. Give me a second here. All right, there I am. Cassie was 19, and according to reports, Cassie wanted to be a singer. She wanted to be a singer. She wanted to be involved. She wanted to be, somebody. So she fell in love with with Diddy, this powerful, influential, mega celebrity, P. Diddy, right? And obviously, she wants to become a star as well. So Diddy introduces the lifestyle to her, but also introduces other things to her. And in court, fast forward, she is now testifying against him, the abuse and the rape allegations and all this stuff. And she's saying that she was in this abusive relationship. But I have some details as well here that I want to share that kind of a little contradicting. It's from the BBC. So I have a few things I'm going to read here, and then we're going to make sense of this. BBC, Miss Ventura, Cassie Ventura's testimony revealed great graphic details about her sex life with the rapper and the physical violence she allegedly endured from him. The rap mogul's lawyer had been trying to depict Miss Ventura as an eager participant, right? So Diddy's lawyer is trying to prove that, wait. She was an eager participant in this situation that they had with the freak offs and the whatever. She was with Diddy, by the way, for 10 years. And she was an eager participant in the sexual lifestyle. She testified this week that she was coerced. She was coerced into the sessions, which involved male escorts because Mr. Combs, P. Diddy, had threatened her with violence. So that's the claim, is that these freak-offs and everything that was happening was due to her willingness, due to her being forced to do them, due to her being threatened to do them. Now, some of that may be true. Some of that may have validity, right? But that's not the full story. It's not the full story. But I have some more details that I think are interesting. First, let me play this clip where it explains a little bit about Cassie's testimony in court. We actually hear some of her words from her in court, a small recording, and they explain a few things around it. Here we go. This is from Instagram. Oh, wait. My bad. Let me get this right. You guys hear it? Hold on. I know what's happening. See, they put me in on Hake, and Hake has a different setup than me. Give me a second. Give me 1 second. Is Nick out there? Do you guys hear? Let me see if that works. Hold up. Hold up. I gotta open this. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. All right. So I'm gonna play the clip here. Sorry about that. There's some last minute changes we're just trying to work out. So here we go. This is from Instagram.
Describe for the jury when you say the term freak off what that entails.
The hiring of escorts and setting up this experience that I could perform for Sean. I just wanted to make him happy.
She said the freak-offs became a weekly occurrence, and she was given ecstasy and later cocaine to help her stay awake and perform for Diddy for days on end.
She was shown pictures of 19 different male escorts. She said some of them were used regularly by the couple. Others she only knew by their first name. She said they were flown all over the world and paid by Diddy to have sex with her.
As many as 10 large bottles of baby oil were poured all over her and the escort during each freak-off because Diddy liked them to appear, quote, glistening. She also recounted one occasion at the L'Hermitage Hotel in Beverly Hills where a blow-up pool full of baby oil was set up for them to get into. The freak-offs had a damaging impact on her body, and she would get mouth sores and regular painful urinary tract infections. And unsurprisingly, at one stage, she told the jury she felt awkward discussing such intimate details in front of a packed courtroom.
Okay, Derek says he's innocent. Derek says that Diddy is innocent. But listen, you gotta pick up on the few subtle things that are said there in the court. We heard her voice, right? Because I have a bunch of details I'm gonna share with you guys that are from reports, right? These are from reports, but we heard right there from her voice, unless it's AI, which, come on, that sounds like her. But where she says, I just wanted to make him happy, okay? That doesn't really sound like coercion to me. I just wanted to make him. Now, she may just have been attached to him. She may just really want to make him happy and be involved. But that's not force. That's not force. But what I'm trying to understand, and I do understand to some degree why it's hard for people in general just to be honest and straightforward about these things. Because there's a sense of shame, there's a sense of guilt, there's a sense of embarrassment that they don't want to admit to themselves, also in front of that many people, to the world, that they were volunteeringly involved. And that takes a lot of courage to say, but it's the truth. And you got to be real or it's going to eat at you. So here's some things that Cassie had said from reports here and some things I want to add just because I think the story is very, 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 very one-sided, right? And I ain't trying to pull no punches from Diddy at all, right? I ain't trying to pull no punches from Diddy, but I think if we're going to paint the picture, we got to paint the whole one. Yahoo News says that at the end of the court, this is her testimony. She says, "This week has been extremely challenging, but also remarkably empowering and healing for me. I hope that my testimony has given strength and voice to other survivors, keyword survivors, and can help others who have suffered to speak up and also heal from abuse and fear. For me, the more I heal, the more I can remember. And the more I can remember, the more I will never forget. I want to thank my family and my advocates for their unwavering support. I'm grateful for all their kindness and encouragement that I have received." Okay? That's what she says at the conclusion of her testimony, right? What that sounds like to me is that she was a victim of this stuff, that she had no part to play. She will never forget how she was abused by him. And she hopes that this is inspiring. Her story is inspiring for others who've been abused by Diddy to speak up and speak out and be strong and be free, right? That's what it says. But here's the truth. According to reports, right? According to Facebook, reports on Facebook said, "I was just in love and wanted to make him happy," Ventura told the jury. And also just from today, "I was 22 at the time." This is where Cassie explains in court how the freak off started and where it came from. "I was 22 at the time. My stomach churned. I didn't have a concept of how that would be a turn on, but I accepted the responsibility. I was confused, nervous, but also loved him very much and wanted to make him happy. It wasn't something that I wanted to be doing, especially regularly, but again, I was in love and wanted to make him happy." Okay? That doesn't sound like force to me. There's a process that comes from this, right? She also had to choose from pictures of these escorts, right? These male escorts. She was well aware that she was going to get involved in these things. She may not have known how bad it was going to be, how she was going to feel afterwards, but she knew what she was doing. She picked which escorts she wanted to sleep with, right? And listen, no judgment. That's the lifestyle you want to live. You want to sleep around in that way, or you want to have this open relationship. No judgment there. All I'm saying is that accountability, acknowledgement, honesty. That's my point about this. So she's looking through this, she's choosing, right? And she's doing this because she wants to make this man happy. Not just because he scares her, not just because he may have put his hands on her, put a little fear in her, threatened her. Not just because she wanted to make him happy. She was so in love with him, right? Whatever that means, it was still her choice and decision to do these things because she wanted to please him. This is from TMZ. Listen to this, y'all. Ooh-wee. Joe, I probably love researching this story. I just like to get to the details. Truth. Hear this one out. So according to TMZ, allegedly Diddy had raped her. Allegedly Diddy had physically abused her, beat her up. There's testimonies from other people in court who know Diddy, who have witnessed, according to them, Diddy punched Cassie in the face, closed-fisted, right? All these different things during their relationship. We seen the video release of Cassie being drug out of the hotel from the elevator, right? We seen that. There's more footage of that. So we know that there was this something going on, some weird stuff going on, right? But even after all of that, they broke up in 2018, 2019-ish. Even after all of that, they were still in contact with each other on good terms, according to DMZ. Cassie and Diddy stayed in touch after they broke up while she was dating her now husband, Alex Fine. She's married and has like 3 children, one child on the way. And she said she had consensual sex with Diddy after the time he R-worded her, graped. So they had S, even after she accused him of R word. That's interesting. If there was a victim and they broke up and she got away, why is she going back? Right? Why is she going back? Yes, there's like this, like, I've heard of there being like this, when somebody is like violates you, there's this weird attachment to them, right? That's typically happen when kids or young people or teens are violated or molested when they're younger. There's this thing that this urge, this desire to want to go back to the abuser, right? For whatever reason, the trauma is filled with thrills and all these things that make you want to go back. That has been said. But her being an adult doesn't justify her any longer calling herself a victim. After all this happened, you still going back, right? You're addicted to the thrill. Why? Because you also enjoy it. You also enjoy it. So Cassie testifies the last time she had S with Diddy was September 2018, after Cassie alleged Diddy raped her, following a breakup dinner. And the next day she told him she had a great time with him. A couple weeks later, Diddy told Cassie he was going to fall back, right? But she can call him if she ever needed him. Cassie responded, "I'm lost without you." God, according to TMZ, this is after all the fact. This is after the fact. I should have did this for True Crime tomorrow. Hate getting all the good stuff. But this is after the fact. She's saying, I'm lost without you. Right? This don't sound like she's a survivor. This don't sound like she was kidnapped. This don't sound like it's not giving that. Right? There's more. A couple weeks later, we got to that. In another text, Diddy tells Cassie she's his ride or die always, and one of the greatest women in the world. Cassie replied and said, that blew my mind a bit. She told him, "I don't hate you. I never have." Cassie also told Diddy in a separate exchange, "I wouldn't be at this beautiful point in my life if I hadn't been with you." Guys. All I'm saying is we gotta be honest across the board. Cause that ain't right. That ain't right. Diddy is responsible for his life and all the actions that he took, maybe catching up to him now, and he's gonna have to pay the price. That's you do the time. I mean, you do the crime, you do the time, right? So he's not off the hook. But why does Cassie get off the hook? Oh, I know. She's a woman, right? And she's a victim. She doesn't have to be honest. She does not have to be honest. She is not entitled to be honest. She didn't have to be. She can go up there and lie. People can know that she lied. And I'm not saying lie where she's making stuff up. I'm talking about not telling the entire truth. Right? And she can get away with it and be fine. But she's going to go back to her life and not feel at peace. Because these are just reports, right? These are just reports. We don't know if this is fully true. But if she did not explain every single last detail of how she was involved too, she won't be free of nothing. It will haunt her till the day she dies unless she can admit to that. Not necessarily to the world. That was her opportunity. But take full responsibility. She's cooked. But that's what oftentimes happens with this Me Too movement and all that stuff. And it's not to say that these girls may or may not have been involved in some stuff that is unfortunate, right? And nobody deserves to be, even your enemy doesn't deserve to be R-worded or taken advantage of or whatever, right? But we need to start being real about this stuff. Cassie ain't no victim. If Diddy's evil, Cassie's evil too. If Diddy's innocent, then it's across the board. It's gotta be the same thing. Cassie is not innocent. She's evil too. She is evil too. Because she's withholding the truth, which will in turn look even worse on Diddy, and that's bearing false witness, and that's they say it in the Bible. So I hope that she, I don't know, makes it right, because she's gonna suffer far more than what Diddy did to her if she's bearing false witness against Diddy. She will suffer far greater within. Hell will come, the real hell, if she is not completely honest and she bear false witness against Diddy. That's how it works. That's how it goes. You can escape jail. You can't escape hell. And that goes for all of us. Me, everybody. But anyway, I just want to talk about that. Hake getting all the good stuff. Come on. That's True Crime Tuesday right there that Hake got on a Monday on the Hake Report. Come on. He got that free work right now. Anyway, we can jump to some calls. 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. Man, I got some stuff for you guys on coming up here on JFTV, Joel Friday TV. Man, we get into that word. I'm talking about that good stuff. I'm talking about set you free type stuff. We get into that on JFTV today, so make sure you guys tune in. Let me go to Pam out of North Carolina. Pam, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's everything going, Joel?
All is well, Pam. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Well, I'm good.
Right.
Probably not, but I'm trying. How about that?
Right on. What's going on?
So this thing with Diddy, that's what you are talking about today, reminded me of my dad when I was growing up. He was a little friendly with some of my girlfriends. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, I saw things that he did, and it bothered me for a while. But, the girls that were around him had already been having sex, they were sexually active. They were 15, 17-year-olds, and they'd already been with several men, not me, but, they had.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, they were very, very flirty with him. He was good looking. He had a motorcycle. And they would always be real flirty with him and things like that. So they knew what they were doing, you know. And he was a grown man, and everybody says, "Oh, your dad, he should have never done those things. That was awful." But I never looked at it like that. I always thought, well, they were the ones that were pushing themselves on him, and they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
And they liked it when he would flirt with them back, and they would show themselves in the swimming pool to him, and they would invite him to come into the private, room where they could be alone with him. And even though my dad was married, it was still, to me, I just think that women try to act like later, oh, your dad did this to me. But to me, you're already sexually active and you're already kind of acting that way. Who's to blame of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and they get away. And that's the thing is that ladies today, or just in general, because, ladies come off as, innocent and like harmless,
yeah.
and so like they can play the
But
card and get away with it, but they're not innocent.
oh, they were playing the card hard with him. They were very obvious about it. Of course, my mom was clueless about it, because she
Yeah.
was living in her own world. But I seen it, and I knew what they were doing, and I didn't object to it because, I felt like, well, they're pushing themselves on him. And then at any time they could have said, oh, he did this to me, and he could have been in prison. But nobody ever spoke up and said anything about it. But still, to me, I forgave my dad a long time ago. I forgave my mom a long time ago, and it made me feel better about my past.
Yeah.
I don't hear all those terrible thoughts about my own self now
Yeah.
because I always look for a decent man because my dad was that way. But when I forgave him, I felt so much better.
Yeah.
And I just recently forgave my mom because she's a little tougher story. But all in all, what I'm trying to say is that, no, all these women could have left. I knew every situation I was getting myself into as a woman.
Yeah.
And I could have gotten out of it at any time. And I would have never walked into those places as a young adult, because I knew what. But if you want that kind of stuff, just like my friends wanted it, then you can get it,
Yeah.
And they know at a young age how to work it. Believe me.
No.
We've been taught all our life how to work it.
Yeah, and the responsibility is what's always missing. And I wanted to ask you about that, Pam. Why do you think that it's hard for people in general, but for ladies to take that responsibility of their actions, even if it was nasty, dirty, embarrassing? Why will they go to the extent to lie or hide what is really true?
Because they haven't forgiven their parents, they haven't found peace. When I found the peace that Jesse and you guys talk about, I opened up and told everything I had done and was not embarrassed about it, and I was free of it, because I knew I had been truly let go of anger in me.
Yeah.
And it's all because they're angry, they're lying, they're kidding themselves.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
really don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They truly believe that they've been mistreated,
Yeah. I find it interesting, Pam, is that like I think people in general, we think that if we're honest, that it's gonna bring some type of like consequence we can't come back from. When it's actually the exact opposite. When we're honest is when we're set free, right? When those things no longer have a tie to us, we're no longer attached to those things. When we can admit to them and let God do what he has to do. Do you find that to be true?
I find it to be very true because before all this, before I learned about you guys and what you do out there, I was told to go forgive my parents. And when I did that, then I went to my children and I told them what a terrible mother I was, all the terrible things I did. And I didn't have one bit of problem. I didn't feel shame at that time. I felt like I could just let it go, and I have. But until they realize that, that they can't, they've got to forgive their parents. They've got to forgive go to your children, tell your children you're sorry, and I'm not embarrassed of it anymore. I was so embarrassed of it, I wouldn't have told anybody the things that I've done now. But I could spill it out there right now and not be one bit embarrassed about it because I'm free of it now. I'm free of it. It doesn't bother me at all. And these women need to do those things in order to be, to be free.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is if they don't, it's still going to eat at them. The Cassie's situation, as an example, is that if she was not entirely honest in that courtroom, she's not going to be free of this burden or whatever she feels due to the thing. She's going to actually feel it more, and she's actually going to be in trouble spiritually if she wasn't completely honest about the situation.
Well, she spiritually, I don't think she has any good spirit in her. But I think that what she's doing is she's so deep into the lie now that she can't come out of it. She's going to take it to her grave, believe me, and she's going to suffer in her hell for the rest of her life because of it.
That great point, Pam. 100%.
Yep. Girls, when you get to them doors and you see those kind of things, if you don't turn around and walk away, whatever you walk into is on you.
Yeah.
Not on nobody else. What you do is on you. not
Yeah.
on nobody else.
There's always a choice too. There's always a choice, right? And if
Yes.
there's no matter the situation, and some things happen. Unfortunately, sometimes you get influenced to do things. Fine, but you can never point to finger at anybody and say they made you do anything. There's always a choice, whether we like the result or not. So
She's so deep into it now. She's gonna have to get free of it. And the only way to do that is you know how to do that. I'll
Yeah.
let you tell them how to do that. But once I got free, I can tell you everything I've done. I'm not embarrassed of it because I know it was not me that did it.
Yeah.
But these girls are so deep into their lives right now, and they're so deep into, and people probably hate me right now because I'm a woman. But I saw it firsthand growing up.
Yeah.
My daddy did it to my friends, and they were loving it. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, he didn't do anything to them they didn't want
they
done.
want it to happen. Fair enough, Pan. I appreciate the
They
honesty
probably
on that
still
as well.
fantasize about that.
I appreciate it, Pan. I got some other callers that want to get in on this, but great points, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you so much. You guys keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. And that's interesting. 100% home run. Let me go to Wayne out of Texas. Wayne, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel, how you doing?
All is well, Wayne. How's it going?
Not too bad. I'm chilling. I just have a little dilemma.
Okay.
I was wondering, right? You notice that most times when people get divorced, you know what the reason is?
Why is that?
The reason is usually the woman thinks the man has cheated on her. Would you agree?
Yeah. Oftentimes.
Huh?
I said oftentimes.
Yeah, most of the times.
Yeah.
Can you think of another reason?
I mean, I'm sure there are, but you're right about the point you're making. It's oftentimes it's due to like infidelity or thoughts of infidelity or whatever.
Right. Now, I noticed that in the Old Testament, most of the guys had several wives.
How do you know?
How do you know? It's written Abraham had 2 wives.
Oh, in the Bible. In the Bible. Oh, okay.
Yeah. All coming down to David, to Isaac, to King Solomon. Everybody had more than one wife. As a matter of fact, there's a verse in the Old Testament that teaches you how to have more than one wife.
Interesting.
Did you know that?
No. What do you know it off the top of your head?
Oh shucks. I think it's
Well, I can if you know the verse, I could look it up.
Yeah. Okay. While I'm talking to you, I'll get it. I'll get it on the thing. But what I'm saying is that where in the New Testament does it rescind that?
Does it rescind all that you can't have
Having
multiple
more than
wives?
one life.
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't came across that. People say that it is in there. I haven't came across that scripture explaining that you can only have one wife. But what is the? I could tell you what I think about it. But first, really quick, what is the point that you want to make with it? Are you do you have multiple wives?
No.
Do you want multiple wives? There you go.
No, not really. Not really. Therefore, see, I'm looking at it now. It's not giving it to me, but no. But I'm just saying that is the reason why a lot of people end up in that way.
Yeah, because it end up cheating. Well, I'll tell you what I think to be true, and then you can let me know what you think, is that there's 2 ways people typically go about relationships. And the most common way that we see often is based off of some type of desire, right? Some type of sexual desire, even if it means well or it was innocent intent, right? Like you see somebody you're attracted to and she's beautiful or she's sexy, hot or whatever, and we go after them. And then our relationship becomes based around this value that it started with, which was this sexual intent. And what happens is that once that starts to fade, you now want something else, or that dries up. You need to figure out a way to keep it sparked. So what happens is you see variety amongst the street, and in the variety, you're like, oh, okay, well, that looks like it would be pretty good. Oh, that one too. And your ego never becomes satisfied because what attracted you to every person was ego, right? So it's hard to stay loyal if your foundation is based off of looks and beauty and stuff like that. Now there's a other part.
Exodus 21:10.
Exodus 21:10. Okay, say that really quick, and then I'm gonna tell you the second part. Exodus 21:10. Okay, but really quick, the second part is when God adds two people together. It's nothing what each person is expecting, and also he adds it because that's what will work. It's based off of something deeper. It's based off of connection. It's based off something real, and that if it's worked on between both people, it cannot die. It can only grow. So when things change, like silly things like, looks change, you're not as excited about when those things change, right? Those things pass, the emotions pass. You guys still have love for each other, real love, and that can only grow, and it doesn't run out. And those are the ones that last till death do you part. And when you have that, I don't see no reason why a person would want multiple wives if they have real love for their spouse.
What I'm saying is that it is in the nature of a man to have more than one woman. And if you look around and you think about it, people are actually having more than one woman, men, and they're getting in trouble for it. So what has happened is our society has become so feminized that they have made the nature of the man illegal. So now it becomes illegal for a man to be a man.
What do you lost me on the last part.
It's illegal, okay, a man's nature. Okay, so for example, if you look at it, right?
Yeah.
I can only have one God. Right?
Yes.
And God can have many, let's call them disciples.
Yeah.
The same way, a woman can only have one man.
Oh.
But she can have many children.
So a man can have many wives.
So a man can have many. He can do it. It's not a problem for him. He can do it. He can love many women, but a woman cannot love many men. It's not in her nature.
But if you think even with the new, you mean today, that's a reality? Okay.
The Old Testament is still going on today.
Okay.
Most of the people are living in the Old Testament. So most men are living under the Old Testament.
So do you think that that's sustainable for all people involved to be happy or at peace?
Yes, it happens in those the Muslim countries. The guys you can't just have 150 wives, or you can't just go sleeping on one night stands and saying that's a thing. But you can go, you get married to one woman, you never slept with her before you got married, right? You did it the right way. And then now you go and you take a second wife. You don't go sleep with her and take her out and then cheat and all that stuff. No, you court her properly, you go to her dad, and then you get married, and then after marriage, you consummate the marriage. Then you could go do the third time. You meet a lady, you talk to her, you court, you go talk to her dad, and you have a third marriage. This is legal in a lot of countries.
Yeah, and
I think it's the nature of man.
This is such an interesting point and call, and I appreciate you calling and bring this to. But this is where I want to push back on that, because anybody who has a desire for another woman is purely about sex. It's not about love.
Not necessarily.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you, because if a person truly is, let's just say, loves somebody, he has no desire to have multiple relationships. And if he desires, let's just say that is coming from love that he wants to have multiple women. Well, these multiple women wouldn't be wives, right? If he had real love for each of these people, he would have his wife, and those people would just be like, nothing. It would just be like
So basically,
friends.
you're telling me
There would be no
sexual.
There would be no sexual desire for them, and there would be no a zeal for a relationship with anyone other than the person that they're married to, because there would be no desire for it in love.
Well, first of all, marriage is not about sex. It's about having children. Okay, so when I get married to a woman, it should not be because
it's not just
it should
about
not be
that.
because it should not be because I want to have sex with her.
Right.
Or that I'm infatuated with her. I should be only infatuated with one thing in my life, and that's my Father in heaven. And then my Father will add a woman to me if he wants to.
Yeah.
So I'm not chasing after women, trying to have sex with them. It's just going to happen or it's not going to happen. I am in love with my dad, and that's it, period. I don't care for sex, for women, or whatever, but there may come a situation where that happens.
Well, fair enough, but there'll never be true peace. There'll never be true peace, and guess what? The children will suffer from it because they won't have their one mom and one mother and one father in the household raising the children. They'll suffer for that.
No, but if you're saying that, that means to say that I should only have one child then, because the second child will be upset and jealous and stuff like that. If I have three
what
children,
value? Well, tell me what value having multiple wives would have on a marriage. What value would it bring? What good would it do?
Oh man, it makes the man excited, man. You get two girls in the bed.
Yeah, I'm talking about outside of sex. Outside of sex, what good would that do?
It'll be interesting. It'll be the women will treat you better because now they're in competition with each other. They're not going to try and dog your shit everywhere you turn around. They're going to have to be nice because they would look vying for your attention.
No, but they will be fighting against each other, and it'll be hell to pay.
No. You've seen polygamists. They don't be fighting with each other. They're all happy. You've seen polygamists, right?
Right, but we only see on the outside how they seem to they portray. But you think that every single woman in the home is going to be happy, sharing one man at peace, all getting along, and everything's going to be fine?
Listen, if a woman has jealousy, and if she has envy, and if she has lust, that means she's not doing the silent prayer.
Right, she's not a woman of God.
She's living a carnal life.
Exactly.
So they need to ascend and not live a carnal life. And God said it's hard to find a woman. As a matter of fact, He said there's no women that can do that. But she's not. Jealousy is of the devil.
Right. And also sharing a man.
If she sees you with another woman, she gets jealous. That's satanic.
I agree. And also sharing your husband with other women is satanic.
What?
Also, sharing your husband with other women is satanic.
Sharing your husband? I don't have a husband.
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about the woman. You're saying that the women who get married, but they're jealous or have multiple, or the husband has multiple wives, and if the women get jealous, she's satanic, right? But if she's sharing her husband,
God allowed that in the Bible. God gives us. Look at Exodus 21:10. God actually shows us.
That's Old Testament.
Why would God make us do something that's demonic?
That's Old Testament.
The Old Testament, New Testament, nothing has changed, man.
Nothing has changed because people behave in the ways that are no longer new. The new ways, there has different rules that come with it once you understand it. And Jesus brought away.
The new way has no jealousy.
Right. The new way has no jealousy. If you're a woman
and you're jealous of your man, you're still in the old way.
Right. And I agree with that. But you're also still in the old way if you have a desire for more than one wife, thinking you're going to want
No,
peace.
You don't have a desire for more than one wife. I'm telling you, you have a desire for the Almighty and Him only. And then if He adds another wife to you, you just accept it. You're not out there looking for women. You're just chilling, doing your bubbling, And then if he brings another woman, that's it. I mean, you are just so in the order of today that you are so in. You think so much like a woman. I'm not trying to diss you or anything like that, because I was the same way. But you are thinking so much like a woman. A woman cannot have two freaking men.
Okay, so if I'm a man,
you can't love two women.
Listen. If I'm a man that wants to overcome the desires, the wicked desires of the heart, so I could be solely committed to my wife, so that way we have children.
You can't be committed to your wife, my friend.
Listen, and be
You're
solely
wrong right there.
listen and be solely committed to my wife, so that way when we have children, our children can have both mother and father committed to them in the household. And let's just say I am to overcome, us together are to overcome this lustful desire so we can be at one with God and return fully. Then I'm less of a man because I want to do that? Or are you less of a man if, I'm not saying, I don't know if you're doing this, but just in general, the big you is less of a man if you can't control your desires, your sexual desires, so you want to let them out on multiple women that God didn't give you? Which one's less of a man?
Okay.
Which one's beta? You tell me.
Okay, I'll say it again. I love the Almighty and Him only. I am not subject to a woman. I'm not pussy whipped. Excuse me, I'm not pee whipped. I don't worship women. I worship God, period. I am not out there searching for any women or whatever. And then God adds one woman to me. And then He adds a second woman. I'm going to take it. But it's not because I want to have sex. I want to have sex.
All right. Well, fair enough, Wayne. Fair enough.
You know what? The two things you have to conquer in life is food and sex.
Right.
You heard Jesse say that?
You're right. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm not chasing no pee. I'm not chasing pee. I'm just, I just know as a man, back in the day, we were allowed to have many women, and today men are having many women, regardless of what the law says, and it's causing divorces like crazy.
It's causing divorces like crazy that they are having I'll tell you this last thing. The only reason why marriages are not working today is not because the wives are not okay with having other women. That's a crazy thing to say, but I guess you want to believe that. That's fine. But the reason why it's not working because there's no love in the home. There's no love. They have no love. And they can't stay committed to one woman because their lust is out of control. And all men deal with that, but all men need to overcome that instead of justifying their lust by having multiple women. Because guess what? Even if they justify their lust and have multiple women, they'll still never be satisfied and they'll still want more. And that's beta to me. But hey, to each his own, Wayne. But I gotta run.
All right, let me just say one last
Okay,
one last thing. Let me say one last thing. The reason why we're having all these problems in the family is because the man is subject to the woman. The man is pee-whipped. He is not subject to God, period.
Yeah. And a man is subject to the women if he wants multiple wives as well, because it's all about sex.
And the woman is subject to her ego. She don't care about God. She just cares if she get intuition, she follows it. You could show her scripture, show her whatever. She's not going to follow that.
Right,
if she gets that intuition, she's going to follow it. Love you, buddy.
I got to end, Wayne. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Interesting stuff. I was going to read the little scripture that he sent about Exodus, but I don't think it's worth it. I think we said enough. But I got to end so I can make time for Joel to come in. Joel got to end for Joel on the Hake Report for Joel Friday TV. Nice. Shout out to the Hake Report and the viewers of the Hake Report. I appreciate you guys allowing me to be on Hake's platform and you guys still tune in and watch and call in. I appreciate that. Tune in to JFTV right now. It's about to flip over to Joel Friday TV, and I got something for y'all. And we can get back into some stuff over there on JFTV if you want to. Thanks to the callers. I appreciate it. And Hake will be back soon. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'm going to play a little song here because that's what Hake does. But it's going to have to be a JFTV song because that's all I have. Because nobody is in here to do that part. Nice. Nick is going to come do it really quick. And he's going to... All right, guys. Until next time, I'm gonna let Nick take over. Bye, guys. Just to play some commercials. Yeah, I got you. Bye, guys. Wait. I gotta put Hake's thing up. Yeah, maybe like a song or something would be good to start. Oh. Maybe the Hake's screen print or thumbnail. Oh, it's there. It's just not.
Describe for the jury when you say the term freak off.
There we go. See you in a couple minutes, y'all. Bye.
We have a counseling service, and I have to admit,